In a world full of distractions, there is one big question on every dog owner's lips.
How do I become more than just the person holding the other end of the leash?
We all get dogs with a dream in mind, a vision of the future. And if right now your everyday reality isn't quite that picture you had in mind, you are in the right place.
It really doesn't have to be this way.
You absolutely can and will be more to your dog than just the person who gets in between them and the world.
The key is you need to be more sexy.
More sexy than the neighbourhood cat.
More sexy than the jogger in the park.
More sexy than that half-eaten hamburger they just found on the floor.
And yes, even more sexy than the dog across the road.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Lauren.
Together we're Absolute Dogs.
And you're listening to the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast, the podcast that teaches you how to have all the tools that you need to have an amazing relationship with your dog and have a stress-free life with your dog.
Now, the cool thing that we get to do, and we get to do this fairly frequently, Tom, is charge ourselves up, right? Like charging it up, recharging the human battery, getting the human battery back on its charge pack. And just imagine if you could have a charge pack in your environment that you could just literally go in, sit yourself on, charge yourself from home and put yourself in a better headspace than the one you are in currently. And now I know that you guys are thinking, hang on a second, this here is dog training. Well, the important part of dog training is that actually we need to consider both the human element and the dog, right, Tom?
Absolutely. And if there were to be a formula for, having dog training success and also just kind of dog owning happiness, like looking after yourself, looking after your dog, there would be really three components. And what we find is that when somebody's maybe not feeling that great about their dog owning, not feeling that great about their dog training, we can guarantee that at least one of these components would have been neglected. Now, the first component, and it's going to sound really obvious, but often people forget about it, is playing games, right? You got to, constantly learn new games, play games with your dogs, have those interactions. And it's one thing to watch the video, but then you have to actually go and play the game. And sometimes people will come to us and they'll say, I'm feeling really down about my dog training. I feel like I'm not making progress. And we kind of have to ask, well, how are your weeks looking? And often they're looking like firefighting. They're looking like a hell of a lot of managing and trying to get through the day.
I'll give you a really good example. Yesterday, I had a heller of a day. I've never even used heller as a word for the day, but it was really, literally, it was pretty chaos, and everything that could have gone wrong was going wrong. And I went in the house and Matt was like, I'm tired and just feeling a bit meh. And you know what? I said, should we go out and just quickly train the dogs for like 15 minutes, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Let's just go and play for 10, 15 minutes. And the change in how you feel afterwards, and I'll tell you now, I've been roping Matt into running Classic. Very funny, Tom, very funny. And I'm hoping it's a permanent thing. So Matt's been doing some agility with Classic, who is very, very fast and loud. And so we went out, played for literally 10 minutes and completely changed the state, changed the mindset, changed all of the energy and put us into much more of a movement state than the funk that we were probably in, sat on the sofa in a slump going, oh dear Lord, that was a tough day.
Yeah, exactly. When in doubt, play some games. Replace the firefighting with games. Now, the second component is, and again, this is one that people often miss, is that they're not constantly investing in their own learning and constantly growing. And actually, when you invest in learning something, you say, right, I am going to learn something new, and you learn it. That doesn't just impact you in that moment. That impacts every interaction you have with your dog, every struggle that your dog throws at you, because you have the knowledge, right? You've got to look to constantly grow your knowledge.
And the thing is, this is one of those ones that's very easy to put on the back burner and say, look, this is absolutely not urgent. This is absolutely not like now. It can wait. And actually, it's really important. Yeah. And the problem is, it's really important. And because it's non-urgent, it will always come last. So let's be honest. I remember reading this book, and I've said to you about it a few times. It still puzzles me that I didn't know what it was about at the time. And it was Waiting for Godot is a play, I think. And I read it at like 14, 15 years old. And basically this man would go to the tree every day and wait for Godot. And basically Godot never came. And at the end of the play, Godot still had never arrived. And for me, in that moment, it's like one of these things that we put back and back and back and back, and actually, let's be honest, may never happen.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to address that in our self-worth, and actually, is this important? Yes, it is important, and therefore it shouldn't be something we just shuffle back all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, third component is an important one, and that is community. Surrounding yourself with the right people that raise you up rather than pull you down. And we teach on this a lot, and sometimes it gets interpreted as, oh gosh, so I've got to exclude people from my life. There are certain people that, they don't necessarily contribute positively to your life, but equally you don't want to, nor should you, remove them from your life.
Like I'm going to give an example here, and I think that I've got a friend, and her mum is actually very difficult for her relationship.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, my mum is really difficult. I need to see her, but I have to limit it. And I was like, you know what? That's not someone you cut out of your life. You just manage the interactions a bit better. So maybe you go out rather than sit in, or maybe you set it for a set time when you know that it's easier for you, not maybe first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening. Maybe you do it midday when you know the energy's good. So you try and set it around there. But your community, Tom, it is really important. And I suppose I have to mention here that Pro Dog Trainers, the Training Academy, Sexier Than a Squirrel, like you guys in the Game Changer groups, oh my goodness, what an amazing energized community, right? Like we have, and so many people say what a very special community you're part of when you can post honestly and openly about a problem, and the community is there to support you and not judge you.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that you have to approach in a really intentional way, because if you don't manage your focus, manage your exposure to outside influencers, then often in today's world, it's quite easy to find the outside influences that maybe are not going to make you feel that great. All we've got to do is switch on the TV and hear about all these, terrible things that are going on in the world, in the news. There's always an expert, nearby that will tell you that the way that you're doing it isn't going to work, or there's something wrong. And sometimes, to be honest, you just want the support in the sense of somebody saying, hey, I know exactly how you feel. I was there, and it doesn't have to always be that way. And so what we see as being the third vital component is actually that you take charge of the community, and you make sure that you're spending time in communities that make you feel great.
And that is something that you do have control over, because so many people will sit back and almost like a victim status, like I don't get to change this, I don't get to have a say about this, I don't get to do anything about this. And actually we really do. We do get to do a lot about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is exactly why the programs that we've developed, they're structured in that way: games, knowledge, community, because that is what unlocks happiness. That's what unlocks success,
right?
Yeah. And that's exactly how we structure that event that we do every year, that people from all over the world tune into, game changers all over the world, and that is Super Trainer Live. Now, Super Trainer Live, crazy thing, I woke up the other morning and I was like, oh my goodness, Super Trainer Live is right around the corner. It's literally like weeks away.
It's actually one of the, it is really a show, right? Like it's a performance. It's a massive event, and it's a showcase event for all of the most up-to-date learning, innovations, fun that can be had in training dogs.
Yeah.
And this, I think when we say Super Trainer Live, actually, so many people used to get maybe confused that it was about actually people who are only professional trainers. That's definitely a misconception.
Yeah.
This is absolutely for anybody who loves and owns dogs.
Yeah.
Anybody who loves dogs. You don't even need to own dogs. You just need to love dogs. Anybody who wants to set themselves ahead of the rest. Anybody who wants to be a step above the rest, right?
Absolutely. And now we can do something really cool. And that is that we can tell you right now, for those of you who have already got your tickets, we can tell you what you have in store. And for those of you who haven't yet got your tickets, you can get excited about getting your tickets, because we're going to tell you what the themes of each day are for Super Trainer Live 2021.
Yeah.
So day one, the way that Super Trainer works is it happens on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday in November, and we'll tell you the dates in a second.
And just so you know, guys, all of you who are thinking, oh my God, I couldn't travel to Devon in November, that just wouldn't be possible, and maybe travel would be difficult, and no, I can't do this. Hang on. We've got some good news for you.
Yeah.
This is it's literally our second time of running it.
Yeah.
Literally 100%, literally digitally.
Yeah,
So it's run online, and you
tune in.
do not literally need to go anywhere. You can get your movie snacks.
Yeah.
You can sit with your snoozy slippers on. You can have your blanket. You can have your comfy sort of like literally lounge around in your own space. You do not
be clothed, but you can pick the clothes.
I don't know why I nearly said a different word there, so I'm glad I moved on. Just to clarify. So yeah, definitely stay fully clothed for the event. But you know what? The best bit is you can do it from your own home, and it doesn't matter what time zone you are in. You're going to be able to participate.
Absolutely. Now, and the other cool thing is that you get a replay, so you get to watch the replay back as well if you miss anything. Now, day one, the Friday of Super Trainer Live 2021. What the theme of the day is, and everything that we teach and show you and games we demonstrate in that day, they relate to this theme, and that is training the dog in front of you, learning and figuring out the games that you need for your dog to transform your struggles. So this is about, if you were to think about those three components, well, component one is the games. Yeah, we're going to be showing you some games that are going to help you with your struggles right now. We're also going to be giving you the knowledge to know which games are for your dog and which games maybe aren't for your dog right now, and effectively you to be able to draw a path forward of transformation. And you're going to be surrounded by dog owners just like you all over the world tuning in online, that we get to celebrate this together.
Like absolutely huge. And case studies and examples of dogs like little Blink, who actually we had to change the training games for. They weren't necessarily typical or exactly how we expected it to go. So we're going to give you a real deep dive into, I suppose, exactly how you can work with your dog.
Absolutely. Now, day two, the Saturday, what we're going to be talking about and teaching on and showing you games and strategies and other super cool stuff is how to become your dog's health and fitness hero. So the cool thing is that often we feel like the health of our dog, we feel like what happens to our dogs is totally out of our control. Actually, it's totally within our control. There are things that you can be doing each and every day that boost this, that boost quality of life, that boost quantity of life. But what we're also going to be talking about in that day is actually brain health, and how supporting your dog's brain health through some super simple stuff that we're going to be showing you on the Saturday actively helps them to be calm, actively helps them to be better behaved, because there's this big link between the health of the brain and behavior, and we're going to be diving into that and making it practical.
The cool thing about this, and both Tom and I have had great experience here, is that actually our dogs live a longer life, a better life, literally live a happier life when they know, or when we know that they're having everything they need. But actually we've noticed longevity is linked to this, right?
Yeah, sorry, I'm laughing because I was about to have a drink and then I saw that the camera was zoomed in.
And it does look like you're drinking a glass bottle of wine, but actually I'll clarify for the audience that it's it's only gin and no tonic.
So the third day, the Sunday,
as he has a swig.
The Sunday, what we are going to be covering, this one is really exciting, and Sunday we're dedicating to a stress-free life. Now, a stress-free life has many components. You might be thinking you would like a stress-free home with your dog. You might be thinking you'd like stress-free walks with your dog. You might want stress-free car journeys, or stress-free vet visits.
Stress-free dog interaction, or maybe you're thinking stress-free dog in my house interaction. Maybe you're just thinking, actually, I want less stress than I've got right now, and I don't know where it all is, but I feel stressed.
Yeah. The cool thing is that we're going to be covering all that, the games, the knowledge, inside a community, as part of Super Trainer Live 2021 on day 3 of this year's Super Trainer.
We know that has certainly whet your appetite for the fact that you want to be there, and actually we also know that it's possible for you all to be there and to share this journey with us and to share this epic event with us. And I suppose we're celebrating getting excited about this event because we're currently planning our content and what we're going to deliver and share with you. We're currently making sure that we've got lots of demos that you'll be able to see and be able to work with and really then practice with your own dogs. So the cool thing is this is your personal invitation.
Absolutely.
You are invited. You are good enough to be there. You are worthy of being there. You should have your ticket. And most of all, we want you to step up and take this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that you can find out the dates, the way that you can get your ticket is by going to Absolute Dogs, or one word, absolutedogs.me, that's M-E, absolutedogs.me, absolutedogs.me/STL 2021. Now, you might be wondering, why is it that we choose November as the month to do Super Trainer?
Oh my goodness, we've had some real team struggles through November because some people have taken holiday and we've been like, no, we can't move the date. We absolutely...
It's November for a reason.
This is a really important date. And I know it sounds crazy, but this is an important date. So when Tom and I have been looking at what we do in November, this is literally etched in our diaries as a permanent.
Yeah.
And that is because November's that time of year where you just start to get in a bit of a funk. You know what? The daylight's pretty gone. It can be a bit
cold.
Oh, it's getting towards the sort of Christmas period.
Every time you take your dog out, they come back with muddy feet and you're having to wash their feet.
It's just a bit grim. It's a bit drizzly. And even if you live in a hot country, you know what? November's the time of year where it feels like everything's winding down a little bit. And so actually the energy, and I'm a huge believer in there's huge energy transfer always going on. And yet the energy in November just doesn't feel like there's enough of it, right? It feels a bit down.
It's a bit of a sad month. And yet
it's my birthday in November. So that always cheers me up, number one. And number two.
I wondered why it was a sad month. Now I know.
You are so rude. So rude.
The thing is that we purposefully put Super Trainer in the month of November because we know that this is a time where we all need to lean in as a community and actually lift each other up. And the cool thing is that actually it's in the absolute dogs world, November is a high energy month. It gets you through the winter.
It's literally sitting yourself on that human battery pack and charging it up. You are going to supercharge your body into a whole new energy space. It's a very special space to be energized.
So what we want you to do is we obviously want you to get your ticket to Super Trainer Live 2021.
We cannot wait to have you there. I promise you, ask anyone who's been to Super Trainer before, maybe in the Game Changer groups or a training academy or Pro Dog Trainer, or email the Ask team, ask@absolute-dogs.com. You will be literally blown away with the reviews that Super Trainer gets.
Yeah, absolutely. We want you to get your ticket. We want you to kind of put your own oxygen mask on, and we'll see you there, and we'll boost your energy and teach you loads of cool stuff. And also, we want you to be thinking about those 3 components that we talked about, and how when you're feeling maybe a little bit low, a little bit down, a little bit like things aren't going so great, revisit those 3 components and think, which one am I actually neglecting here? Am I maybe just not playing with my dog right now because I'm too busy firefighting, or thinking about all the things that are going wrong? Do I maybe need to invest in myself a little bit and maybe learn something new, boost my own knowledge, fan the flames?
Do I deserve this? Hell yeah. You absolutely deserve this. You're more than good enough. This is your opportunity. Step up, take the opportunity. And if you are one of the lucky peeps that are already coming to Super Trainer event, literally get excited and maybe share in one of the groups exactly why you're coming to the event to inspire others. Remember, this community grows in energy, in momentum from exactly people like you. So come, you are welcome. We cannot wait to see you there, and make sure that you do address all of those areas, right, Tom?
Absolutely. And in the meantime, ahead of Super Trainer, remember, stay sexy. Hey, before you go, have you taken part in the worldwide Sexier Than a Squirrel Challenge?
It's a 25-day online video program, huge energy, amazing community, and over 6,000 people are already taking part.
The only question is, you know where you are today. Where do you want to be 25 days from now? Head to absolutedogs.me/sexy.